Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the international conference on psychology, counseling, behavioral social sciences, health, well-being and sustainable development 2023, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 75 years of independence, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 as part of awareness and campaigns, India's G20 presidency, and Psychology Day at UN 2023 and APA Psychology Week 2023 in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute, Center for Art, Sciences and Wellbeing, and all other collaborators. We welcome you all once again to the international conference. Before we start today's sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's sessions. We apologize for the delay today. There was some maintenance due to heavy rains by the electricity department and the other departments. So we had connectivity issues here. So anyway, now we are back with we'll move on. Any speakers who are scheduled today, or those speakers or presenters who have been orally confirmed but not yet scheduled on website, you can share your details in the chat box so that we can take it after 8 o'clock. So we were discussing about emerging trends, challenges, issues in psychology. So we can talk about it hours together, months together, years together, because there is no limit for that matter, any topic where we can discuss it. But we are focusing on major, though there are various in every field, because psychology is related to every field where human beings are involved. Not just human beings, even we, maybe in India, now the dog or cat psychology, anyway, we have equine psychology, which is horse, because horse races are even also quite popular in India. So With that also, we have a lot of animal psychology also involved into it, and we have a lot of pets. And animals, animal-assisted therapies and animal-assisted interventions have been there since long, even before it has emerged as a discipline. These cows, especially cows and cattle, cattle, other cattle are not so, but these cows were part of our households and our members. If we all remember, no matter what position we are holding today, we should not forget our roots. Always, we all belong to agrarian family. And earlier days, if you remember, I don't know how many are fortunate to remember or see their ancestors' photos. We used to have our cattle also part of our photographs. I'm sure most of you are not very unfortunate to still have such photographs, or because even that photography was not available to everyone in those days. Camera was also quite rare. I'm not talking about recent years, right, where we didn't have cell phones or mobile phones or these kind of technologies. Good olden days, 19th century, and the starting of 20th century. When 20th century we had, it's all about 19th century, where, we rarely used to get an option to click a photograph, that too on special occasions, unless and until some, we used to have that manual cameras there at that time. So, and those who were fortunate, those who could afford, I mean, as a hobby, those who were having the knowledge or experience of handling, they were possessing some cameras also. But that was a huge bulky cameras. Even in my collection, I have few SLR cams, which were old, not the modern SLR. Of course, modern SLR also I have, but the good old SLR, with manual lens and all this. So all these, technology where, the psychology is almost everywhere. Now it is a great trending topic. Everyone, no matter what profession they are pursuing this psychology, either through regular or distance. Everyone, has, what we can say, either it can be said as passion, or it can be said as a maniac also, for that matter, because everyone wants to call themselves as a psychologist. So everyone, it doesn't happen like that. You do one course and you become psychologist. It doesn't really work actually. But definitely those who study psychology, if they are genuine in their efforts, they can forget about others, but they can themselves realize what is happening with them. That's why, as we have said, Bhagavad Gita and Ramayana, Mahabharata, if you look at them, like you are watching movies, like you are watching serials, at least don't watch these modern, all stupid stories, commercial aspects are there, and they will show all sort of nonsense in the modern serials of Mahabharata, Ramayana and all this. Because for them, again, this element of business is there. So always go back to old movies, classic movies, and see those movies are really, they are not bothered about money or something. They were truly interested in giving the concepts. You can see a lot of movies of 19th century where there were good values. Every movie had a value in it. But nowadays, in the present day movies, all sex, alcohol, tobacco consumption, and all these violence, you can't rarely find values or ethics in the modern movies. It's all about sensation. It's all about cruelty, rowdyism and all sorts of. We rarely find which really portrays the human values, human relationships. The recently movies have come where, these wonderful movies like Tervi. One movie is there in Hindi. If you happen to watch that. That it's about the last rites, how people come together to perform last rituals of their eldest member passed away, and everyone comes together. Even that movie, a similar kind of movie is also available in Kannada, Telugu also, which recently, even in our university also we aired in the theater within the university campus. And it's almost a very good debate that is happening. Balagam in Telugu, Kannada. You must watch these kind of movies. Why? Because, they are focusing on human emotions, relationships, what we are, within our own families, what is happening, and how these can really, movies are always, either a reflection of the society or reflection of the individuals in the society. At the same time, they are also, a visualization. They also add some to the reality. They also add to their own perspectives also. So they may be a true representation, and as well as it can be to, make it successful, not especially when you come to media, because being me also having academic background in mass communication and journalism. So I can say with my little or more experience, and today is also World Press Day, and that occasion is also there. So, and the day before yesterday, we also spoke about misinformation, disinformation, and false information that is being promoted on the society. And we as a psychologists, behavioral professionals, counselors, social work, medical, psychiatric, social workers, how, we can play a role in busting myths and identifying what is right information and what is wrong information. There is a lot that we can do, but somewhere, we are not able to do. At least we also have very limited dialogues or conversations that is happening. In fact, me being into psychology also, it was quite long time I organized such a conference. I was more into other sustainable development, other things, but exclusive conference, even I also did not organize from quite long time. Though we were working on all the concepts, but exclusive psychology conference was, even I also could. I was busy in other things. So it's a quite long time, even I also organized. So I just thought, we should also have some exclusivity along with, because all these concepts were already being discussed in other conferences as well. We were talking about behavior, behavioral sciences as part of social sciences. We were talking about perspective, cognitive sciences, and all these were part and parcel. And sustainable development itself is an umbrella term where we need to change the attitudes, perceptions, thought process, because already we are in the wrong way, wrong track. From sustainable development, we have moved to destructive development. Of course, there was a need at the time because we were not technologically advanced. And, especially when we remember, because we were, our country was richest country, wealthiest country in the history. But due to these invasions, because we, our own cultures and traditions has taught Atidhi Devo Bhava. Whoever came as a guest, they, all these Muslim invaders and all other Britishers, all these were basically, They came as a guest, they came as traders, and they conquered the nation because of our goodness. It's not that, we couldn't fight back. We had even the largest and the greatest forces. And if we go, we have the technology, ancient technology, and ours is the oldest civilization, Indus civilization, compared with other civilizations, because our river Ganges is one of the oldest. In fact, when comparatively it is not one, but it is the oldest on the, even before that we have river Saraswati, which now no longer is visible, but it is there still flowing. And we have Viraja Nadi, and there are a lot of, rivers which can't be seen, which can't be traced. They are very specifically because of our activities. It's not that they have disappeared. Yes, definitely, because we were destroying the canals, the natural ways, paths, routes of these rivers which were flowing. So, they naturally disappeared, or they changed their movements. So we lost many of them because the sources were also destroyed, or they were encroached, and the construction activity has come up. We can see a lot of open space is available, but we are destroying rocks and mountains, small hills. We can see cutting them. These are natural rock formations, which has to be preserved for future generations. But what we are doing, we have permanently removed rocks, and we have flattened the surface, and that is no longer available. That was there since millions and billions of years. But see our development. That's why I don't know what name to call these human beings, including me. What kind of distractions we have created. We have permanently destroyed our planet for future generations. And we are responsible for this. We are accountable for this. We need to rethink about what the actual development is, how we are moving, and what kind of development process we are into. This is nice as long as, but constantly temperatures are rising. It is going to affect us, and more pollution also. And today we don't have drinking water. We are dependent on bottled water. So all these are impacting, and there will be soon there will be a day where you will not get fresh air to be. Already we have seen many cities in the world. They are highly polluted, like Delhi. Every house in Delhi almost, they have this air purifier. At times it's very difficult. So what we have done to the climate, what we have done to the environment, are we really realizing it? And where we can play an active role? Why, those who are narrow-minded, they can always have this question, why we are talking all about this? Because it's all about the behavior. It's all about the cognitive process. It's all about perceptions, attitudes towards our nature and earth. So we need to think about it. We need to address. We are as a behavioral health professionals, as a counselors, as a psychologists, or as a medical psychiatric social workers, it is our responsibility we have a greater role to play in bringing the change. And not only just the change is there, we have drastically deviated from the sustainable development to what so-called, disastrous development, which is no longer sustainable. We are exploiting natural resources. We are exploiting other species. Because of that, ecosystem is being disturbed, diversity is disturbed, and they are damaged, and we are losing the rich diversity. Because of that, new diseases are coming. We have started consuming all these animals and birds. And because of that, all the pandemics have the roots from this consumption of meat only, which is purely optional. Without meat, anyone can happily survive. We are not carnivores, where, without meat, we cannot live. So our digestive system is meant for, basically our body is designed for vegetarian only. But we are trying to consume more and more and meat. And that is meat products. That is also creating a lot of issues today. So these all things are very much essential if we are really looking at the solutions. No matter this may look absolute or absurd at this point of time, when we are not able to realize, but in coming days, even now we are facing these issues, and in coming days, we also need to look at in a holistic way. Why we are talking about all these concepts? When we are talking about health, environment, the environment in which we live is more important, because the proper environment, proper climate, proper weather conditions are required. Say, suppose you are in a very hot climate, you are sweating all the day and you need an AC round the clock. Will you be comfortable in whatever you are doing, whether you may be studying or you might be working? And that too, if you are doing an indoor activities, or where you are sitting in offices, have ACs round the clock, centralized AC, and all those things, that's fine to some extent. But what about the people who are working outside? Will they be able to work? Now, what about them? So you are there, fine. We are there, fine, with ACs and all those things, we are indoors, we are able to regulate to some extent, even at the cost of environment. Again, by using these air conditioners and air coolers, we are accelerating the climate change. And that the warmth, there are various other aspects. We are not getting into it. We have already discussed many times, and we will continue to discuss in coming sessions. But what we need to say is, okay, when we are inside, that's fine. But what about the people who are really, waiting, working outside, outdoors? For them, how they will survive? How will they do their work? Now, that's why it is important when we are talking about psychology or behavioral sciences. How do they behave in extreme climatic conditions or extreme weather conditions, even in extreme temperatures or in extreme, or both the ways, too much cold or too much hot? These will definitely impact our way of working and our thresholds of our resistance towards cold or hot and humidity and all these things. So we need to have a transdisciplinary approach or multidisciplinary approach, where we need to understand holistically, and also we also need specialized approach where we can go in depth and find out what is happening and where we can take corrective measures to address these issues. So let's look into various other aspects of and various trends after this session. So we will have a session starting at 7 o'clock. Then after that, we'll take up few presentations, if any. Then we will also discuss. So there is a lot to discuss actually. In fact, what we have planned, there is a lot more In fact, that's why we have limited the number of presentations from outside, where we were expecting these. That's why we have put a lot of themes. So we were expecting papers, at least one paper on each theme. But we received some other, it was different. So we restricted many such papers because this conference was, has a theme of diverse ways of psychology. So because we have many other events where you can present on different topics. But this we thought, at least, because after a long time we are organizing an exclusive conference on psychology, though it includes health, well-being and sustainable development. We'll discuss more on psychology rather than other subjects, or at least the different ways of psychology. So let's keep exploring together the various aspects of how, as a psychologist, as a behavioral professionals, we can contribute to this sustainable development, health, and well. So we'll open the forum for discussion for some time. Then we'll move on to inviting our speaker for the day. And feel free to share your this thing. All these proceedings, see, this is one of the unique events. Not everything is everyone's cup of tea. Many times I also said, I also told, all this destiny and all this luck is, not that valid. But it's not so. My experience, my personal experience thought, though opportunities are provided to many, but they don't utilize these opportunities because they have their own prejudices, they have their own preconceived notions. And, because of that, they don't utilize. Whenever we discuss generally, whenever personally also, being a counselor or being a psychologist, being a health professional, when clients keep discussing me, I don't get opportunity. If I get opportunity, I could have proved myself. But when we suggest some opportunity also, they are not willing to take in the first place. They are limiting themselves. This is what, opportunities are there enormous. I don't believe in this not getting an opportunity, but you are not relating to the opportunity and not utilizing the opportunity. Some exploit the opportunities, some do not utilize or underutilize the opportunity. But it should be rightly utilized. The most important thing is it should be rightly utilized so that we do not have the problem. Often we think, the mindset that whenever we get an opportunity or whenever someone is offering us an opportunity, we think that they have some benefit. That's why they are giving us an opportunity so that they can benefit of them. They are trying to use them. They are trying to benefit from us. Definitely. What's wrong in it? And not always. We should also think, because there are exceptions always. It all depends on the person. If we try to understand the person, the context of the organization, goals and objectives, we know. We can say whether it is more beneficial for us or them. So that also impacts the kind of opportunities we are taking, we are utilizing for our development as well as the society development. And this series have been so long, and it is open for everyone. There is no restriction as long as you follow the guidelines, instructions provided, and you are providing relevant content that can be delivered on the platform on relevant context. Because we have 365 days, it's almost 1 year, we have commemorated everything almost. Every day is, we are commemorating one or other. So we have a lot of days dedicated to almost everything. So in 365 days, there is no topic that cannot be covered on this platform. So we talked almost everything on every topic on this platform. I don't see anything that we didn't discuss on this platform in the past 1.5 years. Almost all topics we have discussed. So in a similar way, we get an opportunity, we need to utilize it. That will help us, to share our information, to share, and also learn from others. What happens? We are highly judgmental, we are highly prejudiced, we are highly, with preconceived notions, that we are not willing forward. We are not coming forward to share our knowledge. Whatever knowledge it is kept within ourselves becomes rotten. In fact, yesterday also, our respected speaker, who is a scientist, was also mentioning, and earlier also many times we mentioned, the whatever knowledge we acquire, if we don't use them, it will be lost over a period of time. And what is the use of such knowledge where it is not beneficial to the society? So we should be willing to come forward. We should be willing to use every opportunity, each and every opportunity. We should not be judging each and every opportunity. Yes, we need to understand when we are talking about, psychology or behavioral aspects. Everyone wants to be associated with a larger group or which are popular. But even you need to understand when such a thing, that is there always when we have, highly professional groups where we also don't allow other people to come. But this is an open platform where, the most senior professionals come, the most eminent speakers come, say, including scientists or doctors, professors and all those. So this is a great platform. In fact, everyone can come together and learn together, share together. Not only here, many platforms are there. This is just an example which I am giving you because we are on this platform. But many opportunities are there where we can go out. But we always think, I have seen many people personally also, outside also. When we ask you, invite them to come and share, they say how much you are paying. Now, not everything can be taken. There is opportunities for earning. And if we have to pay, just imagine, why we would invite you? It's not that you are not worth of paying, but if it is only in the terms of monetary terms, if we are looking only in terms of return of investment, then why would we invest on you? If you think in those terms, it's always, it's a loss-loss, not win-win situation. So when we think that only other person is benefiting and that should not happen, or other organization is benefiting, that should not happen. That's why I will not contribute. That is the greatest loss for you only in the very first place. So these are the things we need to work on ourselves. We need to reform ourselves. We need to change ourselves, that we should be contributing. We have our own professions where we can earn. And we need to give back to the society where we need to look forward for more opportunities where we can serve the society. Not every opportunity. That's why this volunteerism is promoted. It's not always in cash. It's always in kind as well. Those who do not have money or, for that matter, they can share their knowledge and volunteer. Not every opportunity, what will do? This greed, to earn more and more is only creating animals or, activating and promoting animal consciousness or animal within us. No doubt we all are social animals. But this greed is always fostering this animal within us. That's why we are destroying the environment, we are destroying the planet, we are destroying fellow species. We are always concerned with our development, our prosperity. We are not bothered about others, including family members. Nowadays, we see within the family members, there are a lot of disputes coming up, which are not being settled, and they are going to courts and fighting years together. Even then children, otherwise, they are the greatest support, but they have turned themselves into rivalry, and they are fighting with each other, their own siblings, or you see parents and daughters, parents and sons. What is this happening? Because of lack of right understanding, lack of right proper relationships. And commitment towards understanding, right understanding. All these problems are popping up, and we are not able to live in peace and harmony within ourselves and outside ourselves. All these are very important aspects to explore. I also don't want to sound too technical, because already too technical is always not getting into brains in the right way. So I think we have to more focus on, anyway, in colleges, universities, we are too technical only, because those are skill-based and technical-based education. There we don't talk. We talk only in terms of subject. So these opportunities are where, we can talk as a common man, reflect upon the simple issues only, these lack of understanding of small things. We might talk about, we might be very good at complex things, but the basic things where we are lacking, that is only creating a lot of problems. We might have got so many degrees, doctorates, awards, rewards, but if we are not able to see the fellow human being as a fellow human, equal and respectable human being, that's where we lost our entire originality or consciousness of being a human. That is what nowadays we are lacking. Of course, we have reached the planets and all those things, but we are somewhere failing to understand and live happily in harmony with our nature on our own planet. That is what lacking. So we will see how and in what way we can achieve and take the help of spirituality or meditation or any such process which can help us to explore, to have inward journey where we can identify, explore, so that we can reflect upon. So we request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form. We shall end this discussion here and then we'll move on. So we'll be inviting our next speaker once this feedback form is closed. So we request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form. It will be closed in next couple of minutes. Or my phone number is everywhere, ma'am. The Zoom ID which you have logged in is my contact number only. Anyway, I will share you once again if you need contact number. It's there on the website. It's there in every message. There is no need to call me also. All information is there on the website in detail. Only thing is you need to have interest. You need to have willingness to go through the information provided and follow the instruction. That's all. Most of the problems come because we don't follow the instructions. We don't follow the system. We try to get around the system. That's why when we face the same problem and we always blame the system, that system is not working fine. But we fail to understand that we are the ones who have exploited the system and made it vulnerable. So when we understand this, and when we follow the instructions, when we follow the system, it is smooth. It's like you are going to a new place, and if you explore, take some time to explore the environment, the facilities around there, you'll be comfortable. You need not struggle every day. Where is what, where to go, how to go, all this. You have explored in the very first time. If you take time to explore, then you will not face any problem. But as long as you don't explore, this problem will be there lifelong. That is the problem. So as long as you are disciplined, I am disciplined, I am organized, you are organized, we will be not able to manage life properly. So it all, reflects. Of course, we can, whatever we communicate, however we communicate, reflects a lot about us. It can also misconvey, it can also properly convey, but it reflects something about us. How we are organized, how we are disciplined, how we are conducting ourselves, how we are managing, how we are sustaining, how we are able to communicate, sustain relationships, and what is the intention behind it. A lot which is unspoken, but still communicates something. Even silence communicates a lot. Appropriate silence. Silence is the greatest communication tool. So not communicating also conveys something. So let's use this opportunity, wherever we are, however we are, to be organized, disciplined. That helps us a lot, because the other process becomes easy. Because this 1 year, we are having more than 1.5 years, we are on the platform, especially under the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav series. And it's not a new day. If you could have explored long back, you could have been more comfortable. But nothing is too late. It's never too late. We can even do it today and start exploring what are the features. Then the coming days are easy for you, for everyone. Thank you once again for being patiently with this session. So now we have with us our Didi, Brahma Kumari Chaya Didi with us. Let me take this wonderful opportunity to introduce our sister BK Chaya Didi. She is a senior Raj Yoga meditation faculty. Today we have with us Sister BK Chaya Ji. Didi is a senior Raja Yoga meditation faculty and center in charge of Brahma Kumari's Meditation Center at Arikere, Bangalore. And she was inclined towards spirituality since childhood and started practicing meditation at a very young age. Her interest towards spirituality and immense love for God craved her way towards dedicating her life for this noble cause. She has inspired and motivated many souls in her journey of 25 years as a Raja Yoga meditation faculty and also as core group member of SPARK, conducting classes on various topics for companies, colleges, and schools for past 20 years. We welcome you, Chaya Didi, on this wonderful occasion, on this International Psychology Conference. And today we are blessed to have you here, to have your message. And over to you, Didi, for
Thank
your
you, sir.
on
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
developing resilience to face challenges. Over to you, Didi.
Thank you.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. So I would just like to say thank you. Big thank you for inviting us. I was just listening to Ravindra sir. The words were filled with so much of wisdom. And when it has got that power of wisdom, it touches the heart and naturally it comes into action. This is what I felt from his speech, when he was saying towards the end that so many things are there in this world that are complicated. We move into complicated things, but to simplify everything is an art. He has put everything in such a beautiful and simplified way that every person can bring his words of wisdom in their life. And this is what a leadership quality is. Given me the topic for today is the resilience in facing hardship or critical times, you can say. But one thing that he was mentioning, as we are destroying the nature and the environment, we are polluting the environment. We are accountable for this. When he said this, I felt, yes, fine. How are we really accountable? As a resident of Bangalore and born and brought up here, I can see the vast change over here. How beautifully and the environment here was, how beautiful the nature was, how beautiful and moderate the climate was. Slowly, and within years, it just degenerated, very fast it is. And I can recollect within years, it was so fast that we could see the difference there, the amount of pollution, the amount of noise, the amount of cutting of trees. And for one line of metro, a huge amount of trees were cut. And you can see that each tree gives oxygen to 15 people, each tree. And if we are cutting one tree, 15 people lose that amount, that percentage of oxygen. And then now, for more than 50 people, there is hardly 1 or 2 trees. So we need to sit down and realize, simple things. What contribution can we do? Because this is an environment problem, and this is faced by each and everyone. And we have really done this degeneration, and we are accountable for this. And we are accountable, we see how the nature is reacting to this. The climate change, how the heat is picking up, and how the rivers and how the ocean, everything is overflowing. There is flood somewhere, there is no lack of water somewhere else. There's too much of heat everywhere. This is what the nature is very critical. How do we form a kind of resilience for this? Here, I would like to simply share with you one beautiful project by our government of India, initiated by Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, and along with Brahma Kumaris. It is called Kalpataru project. Kalpataru is, Kalpa is a tree which fulfills all our wishes. And then Ru is the soul, the point of light. So when you are filled with everything, you are content, and your Atma, your soul is so full. And how that fullness comes, it is not from one side, it comes from all sides, including the nature. So we started this Kalpataru project, and it started last year, and it is extended by another 1 year. Yeah, he gave us this beautiful project of planting trees wherever there is a chance, and wherever you can afford to do it. So we started, he gave us a target of 70 lakhs plants, planting 70 lakhs. It's almost about reach there. And then he has extended this. So we went out to colleges, schools, banks, and so many offices. So as Ravindra sir was saying, how many of us could really accept this from the heart? I could see it was just like a function. So we were planting the trees, and photographs were taken, videos were taken. And after that, we just really forgot our responsibility. We forgot our responsibility. It just took a few days to forget that, erase it from my mind. Why? The reason behind that is we are accountable for each and everything that is happening around. And to simplify that, every action that I perform, I have to reap the fruit of that. So if I am cutting one tree, I have to plant minimum of 5 trees. So how does that realization come from within? Because this is what we can substitute to the destruction of environment or the nature. So each person, if we are responsible, we take up the responsibility, because here, the government also in Karnataka has taken the initiative from the Bangalore Municipal Corporation. We receive n number of saplings. You can take it from them with permission. They are giving it at free of cost. You can plant it anywhere, wherever there is space, wherever you can find there is provision. But it takes a long time for us to realize our responsibilities, as Sir was saying. So just starting with this initial my sharing, I would like to go into the subject of today, with just 1 minute of silence. I request all of you to be seated wherever you are, comfortable position. Please take a long breath. In and breathe out. Energize yourself with this beautiful thought. I am responsible for everything that happens around me. Let me sit back and realize this thought. Everything that I give, I receive it in multifold. It be through my thoughts, It could be through my words. It could be through my actions. Actions are more powerful and more gross. Let each action of mine attract profound amount of positive energy, positivity. I vow to myself to create this positive energy around me. Spread this positivity so that each and every soul receives this positivity. I am light and might. Point of light deep within me. I hold the treasure of peace, of power, knowledge, love, purity, bliss, happiness. How do I connect myself to my inner values? Am I just in the outer, engrossed in the disturbance, the confusions outside? Or can I come back to myself, where I hold the treasure of power, peace? Let me spread vibrations of peace to one another. Let the vibrations of peace prevail in each and everyone's mind, so that we bring oneness. We bring constructive things in this world. We bring harmony with the nature, each and every human being. With these beautiful thoughts, let us withhold these vibrations. Thank you very much. Slowly open your eyes, move your hands, your legs, whole body is completely relaxed. Your mind has created the space to be at peace. It has got the space to grasp more positive things, more energetic things. Thank you. I would just like to share with you all a few slides. Is it visible? Is the slide visible, sir? Is the slide visible, sir? Hello?
Yes, Didi.
Is the slide visible, sir?
Ha, Didi.
Okay. So I would just like to continue with this resilience. What exactly is the definition of it? It is an ability to recover from or adjust easily to something, any critical situation, misfortune, or a change. Could be a drastic change. What exactly is really resilience in mind? I would just like to say, when we were doing this meditation, and it is a gathering of all psychologists, we have different kinds of resilience. When we do meditation, It includes everything, because mind has got such great power to even create positive or negative thoughts. When we start with negative thoughts, it is a chain of negative thoughts. And we all know that each thought creates that energy. And when we have created that energy, it is a big niche of energy of negativity that we have created. So when the mind is tuned to create negativity, anything that happens outside, any small thing, it creates a great hazard inside, disturbance inside, pain inside, a kind of deep discomfort inside. So what happens exactly is, it is the chain of negative thoughts where I lose the power to withstand certain things. I lose the power to filter certain things. I lose the power to let go certain things. Coming to this resilience, what exactly is psychological resilience? Because we know that certain things are so uncertain, it is not predictable, and it is sometimes very adverse. I was just looking into the statistics in MANS in Bangalore. So they were saying that after COVID, 30% of increase in mental depression, especially in youth. And it is so very difficult to give them that counseling, so difficult to make them mentally cope up with things. I visited certain schools in Bangalore. So it could be primary school, or it could be middle, or it could be higher classes. But teachers were saying that after the COVID, it is so difficult for students to cope up with so many things, including coming to school, concentrating on what the teachers are saying, listening, and coping up with the studies. So many times, this was a global issue. Many times we go through this adverse situations in our lifetime. It could be personal, it could be from an organization, or it could be from a family. So what happens is, when I don't have the power, to cope up, I don't have the power to resist, I don't have the power to filter, let go. So all the things that go within me, inside me, has got a very great psychological impact within. So it is sometimes referred to as mental fortitude. What is the best method to come out of this? Because we know that certain things are uncertain, it is unpredictable. And now it has become unpredictable things are more and more in our lifetime. So today we are in job, tomorrow we are not in job. Today I have this, tomorrow I lose this. And things are there in every field. It can be a relationship, it can be money, it can be my job, it can be anything, economy, anything. So this applies to everything in our life. Everything is so uncertain. So how do I really create that base in my life so that I can cope up with all this? This is what meditation teaches us. Few minutes of silence that is created inside your mind is a kind of, I can say, a platform for you to stand on, a platform for you to stand on, and then cope up with all the disturbances that is outside. Psychological resilience is so important these days. As Sir was saying, all the other things are there in our life, but mentally, if we are down, so we find that there is no happiness in our life. There is no happiness in the family. There is no happiness in the organization. It hits everyone. It hits everyone, and everyone is affected. So I could see, some families, even if one child is mentally ill or mentally depressed, I can see the parents getting, ill. I can see the siblings also, the relatives, everyone. So this affects everyone. So mind is so powerful. So, and mind is such a great lab for us. It is an laboratory for us where we can do so many experiments with our own thoughts, with the power of the soul, power of the supreme soul. It is so, it is a must, and I can say it is the need of the hour. Let us not just take away this time saying that it is the need of the hour, and then as time passes and we go to the next year, we go to the next year. It is not possible for us to cope up like that. We need to take, all of us need to take up a step, create, that kind of resilience within all of us, so that the coming generations can really see us as their role models. So mind has got the tremendous power. Let us create those positive thoughts for us to heal ourselves, for us to come out of that discomfort and pain. Let us be in that silence to create a positivity in our life. So connected to that is emotional resilience. How many of us can understand our own feeling and where we are getting trapped into the regular same own emotions? So because this leads to great crisis. So when we are out of this crisis, we can use our internal and external resources. As Sir was saying, we had so many resources, but it was misutilized or underutilized. So what is the internal resource? So I will give you a very beautiful example and a very simple example. So when we see the nature, each tree has got its own speciality. When you go to the people tree, it gives the serenity. It tells us about the purity. And that's the reason why we worship the tree. So we connect to the tree emotionally. We connect to human beings emotionally. We connect to nature emotionally. So when we are feeling great, so we can find that feeling, that vibrations is spread out. So internally and external resources we can use when we come out of our emotional feeling. How do we find that we are in the fix of crisis or the emotional imbalance? Many times I can see that people who are very calm, who are peaceful, just burst out like that without any reason. People who know many things just go down for no reasons. So all this happens because the emotional imbalance takes us to a very large extent of creating a loneliness in us, creating a kind of non-socialization in us, and this leads to emotional imbalance. So I can find that some people are totally into work, and they pay very less time to their family, their relatives, their friends. Some people are there who just want to socialize, pay less time for their family, less time to work. Some people are there who just want to shop, just do shopping and nothing else in their life. So when you see all this, it is a kind of emotional imbalance. So where is our life leading to? Can we really manage this emotional imbalance? This requires a healthy and positive, I can say, a lifestyle, a spiritual lifestyle. Not that all of us need to renounce everything. At least some of the spiritual principles we can adopt to. Some of the principles that elders teach us, we can adopt to, we can practice that. We can practice anything that is there positive outside in our world. This will release our stress. So once the stress is released, you can find that slowly your feelings, your emotion come to a big balance. It comes to a balance. So this is where we all have to take a step of creating, connecting to the internal and external resources. Internal resource, we have our thoughts, the energy of the thought. We have the energy of our emotions. We have the energy of our own experience. We have the energy of our own belief system. We have the energy of our education. And one more thing I would like to add, we need the energy of spiritual knowledge also, where spirituality brings me back to my original self. All the qualities that I hold within me, my inner, innate, the inborn qualities, when I can connect to that, that is where everything falls into place. Psychological, emotional, everything falls to place. So coming to physical resilience, all of us know that our body adapts to so many changes, to maintain stamina and strength. We recover so fast. I was just observing few players, the sportsmen, even after certain injury, they recover so fast. So that is physical resilience, because they exercise so much, they control themselves so much, they are given so much of training. So automatically the body adapts to challenges. So for example, the most famous sport, you can see, it could be cricket, it could be football. What great challenge they face. And then if that challenge is very, very critical, they have very less time, immediately the stamina increases and the strength increases. They have the power to face. So this is physical resilience. It's a person's ability to function and recover when faced with illness, accidents, or physical demands. So this is the beautiful body that shows us, gives us an indication that body can recover from anything. It has got the natural way, the natural, I can say, ability to come back and function in a very normal way. So when physically we can find that body adapts to changes, it can bring back the strength and stamina. What about our mental strength and stamina? How much can I withhold all the challenges, all the criticisms, all the ill feelings others show to me? Everything I can say to that. How much can I withhold that? And just to be to myself, that means I be to my inner self. So without getting carried away or influenced by those things, that gives me mental strength. It gives me the power to come back to that peace very quickly, come back to the power very quickly, come back to knowledge very quickly. So if I have not experienced this part, we are lost in all those negativities. It could be jealousy, it could be negativity, it could be criticism, or it could be anything. So we need to understand that what is more important is physically our body is destined to come back to itself. It comes back to its original self, right? So, and then we need to understand who has got the power for psychological resilience, for emotional resilience. Who's got the power? It is only we. We have the power. Our mind has got the power to bring back this resilience. So body is showing us the path, giving us the way, showing us the way. So how beautiful it is, when all this is there, we are connected in the community. What is community resilience? Community resilience refers to the ability of groups of people to respond and recover from adverse situation. It is a group of people, natural disaster. For example, we have seen the earthquake in Turkey. So it was a community recovery, Everybody was helping everyone. Everybody was in that hardship. Everybody was in mental trauma. And we could see that the whole community, the whole, the country, the people were helping each and everyone. So it is give and take. Acts of violence, economic hardship, and other challenges when the group faces that. So this resilience is there because some of the things are so inborn. Some of the qualities like humanity, like help, cooperation, helping, They're all inborn. It comes out automatically. But when it comes to the self, when it comes to my own self, who can help me? It is me who has to help myself, who has to teach myself. Because many things are there in this world where nobody can counsel me, nobody can really help me to come out of this mental trauma. I have to do it myself. So, how can I do it? It is this power of meditation which helps us to come out of this. So, if you are all okay with, I will just give you a small activity. Okay? If you are all okay, let us change the story now, our own story. You're all okay? If you are okay, you have a pen and paper. You're all okay? You're all present? All the participants are present. So change the story. Please write down thoughts and feelings around the issues in your life without inhibition. Please write down thoughts and feelings around the issues in your life without inhibition. Then look for alternative positive perspectives, focusing on things you can control, not out of your control, focusing on things you can control. Let us take a few minutes for this exercise. Let me change the story of my life. I write down thoughts and feelings around the issues in my life without any inhibition. It could be anything. Then replace it with some positive perspective, focusing on things you can control. Let us take 2 or 3 minutes for this. Let us practice self-compassion. I guide you through this practice. Please sit comfortably wherever you're seated. Take some time for yourself. Disconnect from the outside noise. I tune into my inner world of beauty, world of my own self. I the beautiful quality of self-compassion as I compassionate with others. I turn to myself. I be kind to myself. I slowly start to delete self-sabotaging words towards me, painful discomfort words towards me, any person. I have my own unique qualities. I appreciate these qualities within me. I have the courage to be. Compassionate to the self. I love myself. I love the uniqueness that I hold. I can be imperfect. I can make mistakes. I also correct, make myself perfect. Love myself because I have this beautiful quality of being loved. Let us check. When was the last time you did some self-love? Let us introspect and check. When was it that I loved myself? I appreciated myself. Taking you through these thoughts, I would just like to share with you about some spiritual aspects. What is spirituality? Is the inner belief system that guides you through values, ethics, social behaviors. Psychological outlook also influences resilience. Individuals who have strong sense of purpose, feeling of connection to a great whole, connecting to the spirituality are more resilient. What does this really mean? I would like to share with you certain things. Studies show that purpose in life is a key factor in helping individuals manage traumatic events, and that low spirituality is leading predictor of low resilience. Whether it's because you have sense of purpose, belong to a spiritual community, partake in healthier behaviors, or have more optimistic outlook, science confirms that spirituality confers better health, especially mental health. And how do we develop mental health? So it requires so much of self-effort. It requires so much of attention and practice within all of us, because meditation is a great strength. Now, meditation gives us the inner power. So each step that we put in meditation is towards me and it is towards the world at large, including the nature. So how do I really practice meditation? Because meditation is derived from Latin word called healing. I heal myself because when I don't heal myself, I don't know the way to heal myself. It is very difficult for us to deal with others, very difficult for us to interact with others. So meditation is healing the self. When I was talking about the self, be compassionate to self, be compassionate to my own self. What am I made up of? Because I am this body, I breathe, I see, I talk, I hear. So I do so many things around. But then we need to sit down and introspect, pound on this. When I perceive something and I am happy or unhappy, who is feeling that happiness? Who is feeling that deep kind of depression? Who is feeling that kind of sorrow? So it is not my eyes, it is not my ears, it is not my mouth. These are just the medium, but I, the soul, or the point of light, the energy, it creates those thoughts, and immediately I feel happy, immediately I feel unhappy, I feel peace, I feel peaceless. So it is a matter of deep inner introspection of the soul. So when I find that I, the soul, have the power to create thoughts, have the power to decide for certain things, have the power of sanskars, the impressions within me. So all these things are there in the soul. But have we really explored the power of the soul, explored the power of thoughts, the decision, my own sanskars? How do I create my sanskars, the deep imprints? So keep doing more positive, good things, where we say the punya, karma. When we start to do this, connect to my own self and the Supreme, that creates a great impression, a kind of sanskars which I can rely on, the sanskars which I can really put into actions. Because many times our counseling just goes to the level of thoughts, the level of just our interaction and life. But deep within us, there are the impressions which have a great impact on our thinking pattern, on our decision, and the interaction or the vyavhara which we say with others, or the karma or actions that we perform. That's the reason why meditation is nothing but you realize that you are the soul and you have that inner power to create your own sanskars, the positive sanskars. You have the power to heal yourself, counsel yourself. Meditation is such a beautiful practice to counsel yourself, taking you through this journey of meditation. I would just like to give you a little bit of commentary so that all of you can experience this and just check upon whether I'm able to go along the journey of meditation and what is stopping me. If something is stopping me, it could be your thoughts or the previous sanskars or the impressions, just let go that and then move forward with the words that you hear. Create a deep inner feeling for yourself. Connect to what you're listening. Create that feeling within yourself. Again, I would request all of you to be seated wherever you're seated. This is the time for you to experience, to create a time of your life. Create something that is new and something which is very important. So I request all of you to be seated wherever you are comfortably. Just look upon this beautiful picture. So where, everything is connected. So you are connected to the nature. The nature is connecting to you. And it is so beautiful, the interconnection. So you are connected to the water, you're connected to the mountains, connected to the trees, the sun, birds, everything around the world. So I am connected to even the human souls, the nature. So what should be my thoughts like? So let us create and ponder upon this for a few minutes. Just go into the depth of this beauty of the nature. How beautiful the reflection shows. Everything is so clear and clean, including the shadow of the birds, the mountains. As the rays are clean and clear, bright, reflection is very clean and bright. Each thought of mine reflects on the environment outside me. Each thought of mine spreads to the world at large. Let me create this beautiful thought. I, a point of light residing in the middle of the forehead, create the power of peace within me. I am the embodiment of peace. I radiate rays of peace. Go into this world of peace within me. I'm engrossed in this beautiful vibrations of peace. This my inner world. I touch upon the treasure of peace. There is a pool of peace around me. Vibrations of peace surrounding me. Vibrations flow throughout my body, energizing my body. Spreads into the atmosphere, making the atmosphere very peaceful around me. Spread rays of peace to the world. Let peaceful vibration and thoughts touch each and every one. Thoughts of fight, thoughts of war, evade from everyone's mind. We are children of one God, the Supreme, the Father of all the souls. Ocean of which, ocean of peace, ocean of bliss, power. I connect to Him. I am embraced by His soothing light and warmth. Engulfed with His light, I feel so safe and secure. Slowly open my eyes, realize the beauty of meditation. Realize the need for meditation. I create one thought, positive and powerful thought. I will spend some time for meditation each day so that my whole day is positive. I can hold the power to resilience. I can hold the power to face and be more powerful. This is the teaching of being resilient. I shall create these thoughts and put it into practice. As I open my eyes, move my hands and legs, my whole body is calm, soothing, as my mind is peaceful. Shanti. Thank you very much. Saying so, I end this session here. Thank you very much, Ravindra sir, for giving us this opportunity. And I wish this conference is taken forward and it helps many, many, many people at large. So God bless all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Didi. Participants can feel free to unmute yourself and share. Hope this silence we are able to reflect on the session. It was a deliberate silence. Yeah, you can unmute. You can share. Christina?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Hello, can you hear me? Am I audible enough?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Ravindra, first of all, for giving us this great opportunity to learn from each other and then to sharpen our skills. Thank you, our presenter, for this great insight on, on the topic resilience. I'm happy to learn about this as simple or as deep as the session was. It was very impactful. I see resilience as a must-have for every human being, especially in a difficult a world or environment where people come across or face challenges every day of different kinds. Challenges challenges of coping with oneself and one's challenges of life, and also challenges of supporting friends and loved ones. Resilience is very important. I also learned on the topic was meditation also. Uh, it's, it's not a very common thing, but I think it's coming up very from the part of the world that I come from. I know that a lot of meaning were given to meditation. It is seen as it is defined by different people as meaning different things. Take for instance, people see the yoga that is encouraged now in the management of even mental health and other medical conditions as a witchcraft activity where people through such means go into trance and do spiritual travels and different kinds of very odd things that have been said about this. But like if you go to the comment box, I have mentioned that meditation is one of the best, so it's one among the best relaxation techniques that have been found. Sometimes when you're tired, when you are overwhelmed by things or mental work or mental stress, you can use meditation to relax your nerves. And even when one runs into shortage of sleep or the inability to sleep, one can do take either do yoga or do meditation, and then before you know it, you are asleep. So I have learned a lot. I am at work right now, but I created them to follow Chili. And as a mental health practitioner, I found this session very useful. In fact, my colleague walked in and heard me and saw me attending the session, and I said that the topic is on resilience. And I said, every human being needs this particular aspect of self-care, which is building resilience. And it, she now said people need a lot of different things, not just resilience. But I know that when you have good resilience, you stand out, you are different. The way another person will cope with life pressure go through. So thank you very much for this session. If you look at my feedback form, I said it's a time of great learning. I truly appreciate. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Ravindra, for always finding us worthy to create platforms for us to learn. I'm grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina, for sharing. Yeah, Mary. You can unmute yourself.
Uh, uh, Good evening, madam. I thank Dr. Ravindra sir and Sri Holistic Health Foundation and Sri Research Center for Art, Science and Wellbeing for giving me this opportunity to express my opinion. Ma'am, your session was very different from the other resilience sessions. It impacted me a lot. I learned a lot from the session, more than I asked questions. And your silent prayer and because I'm very attached to spirituality, so that brought this session very close to me. I'm very in depth in these spirituality and prayer, so this one impacted me a lot. And I belong to Bangalore, and I've seen this Arkere place, but I don't know where you are. So thanks for the wonderful session and God bless you. Hope to see you in more sessions.
Thank you.
All the best, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mary, for sharing your thoughts. Anyone else would like to share? Feel free to share your observations, thoughts. If you have any queries, clarifications, feel free to share. So if there are no further queries, then there are few messages from Acholi. Dr. Acholi, wonderful. Christina has already mentioned meditation is one of the best relaxation techniques. And other messages like wonderful session, excellent session, nice session by participants. Thank you, Didi, for all the way joining us.
Thank you. Thank
Share
you.
your wonderful message with us. Today we feel blessed with your presence of the noble soul who has dedicated your life for
Thank you.
passing on the wonderful message. And you have reflected on
Thank you so
various aspects like, resilience, physiological, psychological, emotional, physical, mental, and various aspects of resilience, and how we can practice this resilience in our day-to-day practice and in our thought process. Very wonderfully presented. And you also, not only that, you connected to various aspects of environment, climate change, the pressing problems, the way you beautifully connected each of these topics and interwoven with the complexities. It was really wonderful, and we are very thankful, and we express our heartfelt gratitude for joining us on this wonderful occasion. And we look forward for more sessions, Didi, from you.
Thank you, sir. Sure, sir. It's my pleasure and my seva.
Thank you, Didi. Om
Thank
Shanti.
you very much, sir. Thank you all. Om Shanti. Thank you.
Thank you, friends, for joining. So we will move on with the next session. Hope everyone has filled the feedback form. For first session, it is still on. Okay. So anyway, it was on, so we'll take it after this session. As we know, we take feedback form in the form of polls. There is no external link that can be shared. So we request everyone, if you miss one or other also, no problem. As long as you are there on the platform, you can fill the next feedback form. So finally, we'll be having an overall feedback form at the end. You can also fill that if you missed earlier. So now, the presenters who are available on the platform, kindly share your topic and details who have been orally approved. Can share your details in the chat box so that we can invite you. Otherwise, we will proceed with our sessions. Only those who have got oral approval and those who have completed all the formalities are only permitted. Without completing formalities, we are not going to issue any certificate, because this is a simple thing that it is responsibility. Everything is offered for free, and that too a quality resource. And we are also sitting with you along for hours together. It is your responsibility to ensure. It is a gratitude, in fact. It is part of our sanskar to express gratitude and follow the instructions and respect each other. By following the instructions, that will help us, because we are coming up all the proceedings in an international reputed publisher, from a reputed publisher. All the proceedings are going to come, and it will be there forever for you as a lifetime memory. So for that, we need all the details. That's why we are collecting, because, it happens. We have seen many times when you place a request for something, when we ask you details, you say, many have said they don't remember. See, this is kind of negligence. If you yourself are not interested in your own development, if you yourself have not remembered your own presentation details or participation details, how do you expect others to remember it? That shows a greater part of unorganized, indisciplined, irresponsible, negligent behavior on our part. That's why I say, whenever we are communicating, it conveys a lot about us, not about others. We can't, we can blame the entire world, but what we are doing, that is more important. We are not following the system, then definitely system will not allow you. And you will not, no matter how long you are struggling with that, but you will not get an opportunity. The ultimate goal, if the ultimate goal is to, get benefit out of it, there is no other way to follow the system. And we are not the platform where we are, looking for people just for the namesake. We need thousands and thousands of participants. So whoever registered, give away certificate, whether they attend or not, that is all not, that will not happen here. So we are not encouraging, we are genuinely doing whatever is even one person joins also fine, no problem. But the genuinity is what required. We are not here for publicity. We are not here for any benefit. It is purely charity, and we do not believe it is a Christian model or Western model of charity. We truly believe in charity of Sanatana Dharma. Now, where we truly believe charity for the sake of charity, not for the sake of publicity or any other purpose. So only those like-minded who are willing to contribute, those who are kind-hearted, those who are disciplined, those who are organized, for them only this is, an opportunity. For those who want to just get around, this is not the place. This is not the platform for you. You can keep us blaming your entire lifetime, but at the end of the day, you have to follow instructions. Whether you follow it in the very first place or you will follow after all the struggle, that is, choice is yours. But we are one thing particular, unless and until we don't have your details, you are not going to be given certificate, neither you are going to be part of that publication. So it is your responsibility. You decide what is best for you. Again, utilizing opportunity and taking, this is not an opportunity. You are not paying, but we are paying for all the resources, all the efforts. And more than that, whatever time you are spending, more than that, we are spending time. So don't think that we are giving you time. Don't never think that. Because you are there on the platform, because we are there here organizing, maintaining this platform. So more than you, we are putting resources. So don't think that you are coming, doing favor for us. In fact, we are only doing favor by giving you opportunity. So if we think like that, then we will realize that no one is doing any favor for anyone. It is like a win-win situation where we are coming together, respecting each other, following each other, helping each other, learning from each other. When we think, that's the main attitude change that we need to bring on. Otherwise, as long as you think that other person is using me, other person is exploiting me, other person is taking benefit of them, then that will never give you that kind of development or satisfaction. We all needs to be open, and it's always a win-win situation, both. It may not always be in commercial terms, but it can be in sharing knowledge, it can be, in various aspects of this. But one thing I would like to make it clear, but at the end of the day, it is always, especially I found many, it is purely luck and also the destiny that decides, especially on our platform. I have seen, though many, after putting efforts also, they are not able to present. So I believe truly efforts are there always. Without effort, there are many people who are working harder than us. There are many people who are, doing many things, more committed, more dedicated than us. But they are not, they are looking for opportunities, but somehow they are not able to get opportunities. But we have opportunities, we are provided opportunities, and we have made it completely free so that, no one should come and say to me, especially, because I have taken the responsibility and I have been given the responsibility that no one should be denied as long as they are respectful and following the guidelines. So I am ensuring my best to that level that even any of you or for that matter, any other person, even if he or she was in my place, she could never have done so much. So to that extent, to that level, I can assure you that, that much we are doing for this. And that too, we are not expecting anything. And we already mentioned in many times, we do not raise any funds. We do not take any sponsorships. We do not do anything which is commercial interest. It's purely to promote each other. Only thing is, only with that mindset, only with that intention, if you are able to get along, then you can benefit a lot from this platform. And coming days are there, very few days left. And it was a very good journey, very long journey, where we have many people who have joined us daily. And ultimately, it is going to benefit for you only, because you will be listed in many of the events and you have the pride of participating in the longest celebration. So it's all, benefit for you only. See, basically, I am like a sannyasi, a revered soul who is just in the last stage of spiritual life. I am enjoying. So for me, what I will do with all this reputation, money and all those things, that doesn't matter. So whatever we are doing is, service to humankind. So we thought I can do, as I am already engaged with various religious and spiritual programs, and always stay connected, sit before God, do chanting and all that also I can do. That is more, in fact, that is more easy work rather than doing here, being disrespected at times because of your mistakes, and you don't follow instructions and you waste our time and resources. Instead of that, I will be more happy sitting in the temple and praying or doing some temple service. But still we have taken a lot of pain, a lot of efforts to come and take some time out and also do service to humankind. And that too, when so much of efforts have been put by our professors in teaching something, in training us something theoretically, practically, where we thought we should give back to our own subject, how we can give it by providing opportunities. It's not that how reputed it is. It's not always about metrics. We think, we always see which brand it is associated, which university. Forget about all those things. You can present, you will get a lot of opportunities. And we know the other darker side of academia, publishing. And so I need not mention about that. Everyone knows about it. The kind of predatory journals for the sake of promotions, for the sake of APA points, or what all wrong things are happening in academia. We know about them. And people are very much used to it. And really, everything is being handled now, outsourced. How much work being published is their original or being outsourced? Only God only knows, or they only. Now we have thousands and thousands of publications to one's credit. I don't understand how they are able to publish so many. For me, at a personal level, it takes a lot of time to come to a conclusion and write a paper. But I see, of course, there are various things I also know, because I am also part of the system. So I know what happens in the system. I don't want to talk about all these things. But what I would like to say is, whatever we do, not everything. There is always, we said, standard deviation curve. There are always extremities. We will find persons or organizations or someone who is extremely out of 1 in lakh, 1 in crore, 1. So we should always be sensitive to that thing. Otherwise, we'll lose our greatest opportunity of one time or once in a lifetime opportunity of having, being associated. That's what I would like to say, because that always, that destiny factor, that luck factor, no? That works there only. So there are places where you need to be commercial. There are places where you need to offer yourself in terms of charity, in terms of volunteer. Always there is a place, there is a context where you can use the appropriate situation or context or the opportunity. So we have to be conscious of that. We cannot go everywhere and do everywhere same thing. There is a place where we have adequate excess resources where, and we also have places where we need to contribute. So we need to be mindful, we need to be conscious of that. Then only we'll be able to do our contribution. Like nature. If nature thinks, why we are talking about this is, when nature thinks that why I should give you oxygen, I should tax you for giving you oxygen. Now you pay, then only you will get oxygen. What happens to us? In next couple of seconds and minutes, entire human population will be wiped out. Unless and until the very few population who have these oxygen raters or those who can live. But how long? Say you are living for 100 years. Do you have adequate oxygen? And how long you can carry cylinders on your shoulders, on your arms, or dragging with you like luggage? So we need to understand, not everywhere you can behave, you can conduct in a commercial manner. Not everywhere you can behave in the same way, similar way. We need to, adapt, adjust according to the situation. And nature is where we are taking, we are exploiting, which we never can give it back. But at least, at the least, let it be in whatever way it is. Let's not further exploit. Let's not further destroy. Already we have done so much damage, it's beyond restoration. It's beyond restoration. So let's be conscious. Already we are paying for what we have done. Our karma is hitting back. Nature is hitting back us because it is unable to bear its pain and it is struggling for its survival and existence. And definitely, we have left no choice for the nature and environment. Other than to strike back. We have forced environment, nature to such an extent that it has to strike back to survive. Let's not further deteriorate. Let's not further complicate the things with the nature and environment. Let's all live in peace and harmony. Let's all live in cooperation, coordination, and in productive way with the nature and environment. So we have with us, so there is one paper. Just a second. And for the presenters, we have mentioned the format which has to be sent, but many of them are not sending that. Without sending that format, we are not going to approve any papers. It is mandatory. First, you register. On every flyer on website, it is clearly mentioned. Now, what is stopping you? I don't know. You have to send. Without that, we are not going to approve any paper. And you are not going to get certificate. As I said, certificate is the last thing. And when you are asking some document from us, then you also need to provide your documentation. You need to complete your documentation as per the formalities and guidelines. Then only you will be getting a document from us. If not, forget about certificate. I am very much clear. If you are not following instructions, though you have presented, though you have participated, if you are not following, you are not going to get a document. Because only when you complete documentation only, you are going to get a document. Remember that. I'm very much clear because it wastes a lot of time and resources for you as well as us. If you don't want certificate, then you can join, present, publish, whatever you want, you do. But don't ask anything. If you are not willing to provide your documentation to us, don't ask any documentation from us. It's very clear. But if you want any document from us, then you have to complete your documentation process. There is no other way. So let's be clear about that and follow the instructions. Forget about other platform. It is a common excuse we see that platform there we are not giving. You go there only, don't come here. If someone else is doing like that, you go better, attend there only, present there only. But if you are coming here, you have to follow the instructions. You have to complete the documentation, then only you are going to pay. Here, whatever it is decided, it is going to be like this one. So it is up to you whether you follow it or not to follow it. If you follow only, you are going to get the benefits. If you don't follow, you are not going to get it. You are the one to be blamed because we are not responsible for your non-completion of format. It's very much clear whether it's up to you. Choice is yours only. You complete, you don't complete. This is all why I am telling all this because of the messages in chat box. They are asking certificate, link and all. We have clearly mentioned after the conference only we will be issuing certificate. Because day to day we have to see all the attendance and every day we are on day-to-day basis we are issuing certificates. After the conference only, once entire conference gets completed, we'll consolidate. We need to consolidate all because registration is once, right? And we need to see whether you have registered or not. And again, we cannot do process every time. So it's a lot of time waste and wastage of time and resources. So at the end of the conference, whoever has presented, whoever has participated, you register by the end of the conference, last day of the conference. After you do it, again, it is not possible that whenever you wake up and realize you have to register and you cannot ask because we have already schedules. We have already lot of work, other work to be done. We have daily event that is happening. We need to work on that. We cannot waste time and resources on you or your request. So it is not possible. And don't keep blaming after you somewhere down the line, you wake up and realize and you complete at that time and don't expect that, we immediately respond. It is not possible. We have our own limitations. So we will do it definitely. After the series, we will do. If you have time, because once we become free, see, it's all matter of time only. We have 24 hours, you have 24 hours. Within that time, whatever we can take out, within that we are issuing. Even we are issuing pending certificates also. But you have to wait. You have to wait patiently. You need to have patience. And you need to provide adequate detail. The format for request is there. I'm repeatedly telling, and again, like fools and idiots, if you just keep sending, if you don't, that is very, that's what I say. There is a format to make a request, certificate request. Why don't you use that format? Because in that format, if you know, while you are filling it, that all details are required for you, only after checking that, we'll process for certificate. So without providing the details, no matter 1,000 times you send, no matter 1,000 times we also reply, check the website, it is not going to take us anywhere. Only when you use the proper format, fill all the details and send us, then we can, whatever time we can get, within that time we can verify all the details and we can put you in the schedule that whenever next certificates are released, you can get certificate. Otherwise, just simply, unorganized communication, lack of proper communication will not help you. And at the end of the day, you are only one who are going to be disappointed. You are only the one who is going to lose the opportunity. So don't do like that. It's all mistake, 99.9% we have verified, and all because of mistakes committed by the participants, presenters. We have nothing to do. You, as long as you follow, we are there to facilitate only. We are there to help you, but you should be able to help yourself. And you should also help us to help you. If you are not able to help yourself, and if you are not able to help us to help you, then only God only can save you. So we are there to help you. We are there to guide you. We are there to assist you. We are there to get along with you only when you follow the instructions. Otherwise, just no use. I'm very frank. Maybe it may sound very blunt also, but that always saves our time and resources. So, okay, so then we have with us Charlene. Let me pull out details. Okay.
Hello. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, just a second. Let me
Okay.
take the details from system.
Okay. Okay, sure, sir.
Yeah, so we have our next presentation by Dr. Stalin Muthuswamy. He is Dean of Business and Social Sciences, Presso University, Lusaka, if I am not spelling wrong, Zambia. So he would be presenting on study on proactive HR practices in organizations after COVID-19 in Tamil Nadu. We welcome you, sir, on this platform, and over to you for your session.
Okay. Good evening to everyone. I thank Sri Holistic Health Foundation of India, Sri Research Institute Center for Arts and Science, Well-being, and Dr. Ravindra Sir for the moderator and coordinator of this one-week international conference on psychology and counseling, behavioral science, and social sciences. I'm very happy that I am presenting on this topic, even though my previous presenters have been particularly explaining on the psychology and its effectiveness. Especially the previous presenter was very great, and I really amazed her presentations, especially where she mentioned about the 70 lakhs tree plantation in Bangalore. I really thank the presenter for enlightening us with such a great insight, and I'm so thankful for the convener and the coordinator, Dr. Ravindra Sir, You're really great and you're doing an amazing work. Please keep it up, as I mentioned in the previous comment. And I will also confirm, and I would like to join a lot of such programs in the near future. I'm little bit apologizing myself because I'm slightly far away from the actual topics, because I can see more or less it is in psychology, and I am dealing with the proactive HR practices. I don't know if the crew can say if I can go ahead with it. That's fine, because this is purely academic and academic based articles, if that is okay.
Yeah, we actually, most of our participants, presenters are academicians only. We have 80% of them are academicians only. So you can go ahead and you can relate also, because you being HR also, you deal with lot of psychological aspects. So
Yes.
from your experiences, you can correlate and you can talk after presentation. So that would be an added value to your presentation.
Yeah.
And thank you for your kind words.
Thank you.
Please go
Thank
ahead.
you. Thank you. Yeah. So my topic for this evening presentation is a study on the proactive HR practices in organization, especially after COVID-19 in Tamil Nadu. COVID has brought a number of issues in around the world, especially for working people. Almost everybody has faced a lot of challenges, but especially for working people, the breadwinners really faced a lot of challenges, as they are attached with some companies and organizations. There was lockdown and breakdown of work, and all that has brought a lot of challenges for people to cope up with their life, especially. And since COVID-19 was designated as a global pandemic, the majority of business has a lot of business have fired employees, and then they have lost contact with their clients, and a lot of them had difficulties in making up their business, producing and meeting the clients' need and all that. So this topic will majorly specifically show that how the proactive HR practices have helped the organizations after COVID-19. My topic has three objectives, especially the first one will be to analyze the proactive HR practices in the organization after COVID-19. The second objective, to identify the knowledge about the COVID-19 by the employees or from the employees and from respondents. The third one will be to learn the various HR practices introduced after COVID-19 in organizations. So for this study, in the actual articles, I have listed number of articles, the reviews, but especially for this presentation, I highlight two review of literature. The first review of literature by Elian in 2021, he identified that it has been reported that the prevalence of COVID-19 is having a greater impact on organizational operations in a variety of ways. And this study found out that there is a requirement for employees and employers to build pretend plan in their organization that ensure they promote continuity in their organization operations. According to this review, when we elaborate it, he was really found out through his study that the employee and employer must come out with a new strategy that can fill in the gap of the working schedules that are destroyed because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Then the second review, it talks about Hamidek in 2021 explained that the COVID-19 has profoundly affected all organizations, creating a complex and difficult environment for managers and human resource management, especially. So his study brought out that we must come up with creative solutions to ensure the survival of their business and assist their staff in coping with their extraordinarily crisis. So when I went through on a review of this study, he really explained that how we can come up with creative ideas to meet the COVID pandemic. This is when the new launch of evening session, evening wake through the household systems, the shift makings and all the new procedures have been brought up to meet this COVID-19 pandemic. The methodology used for this research was basically a descriptive research design, and the sampling was done at convenient sampling techniques. Then tool of data collection was self-structured tool, and the method of data collection questionnaire through creating Google Forms. And the major findings of this article, more than fourth, that is 76.7 of the respondents are belonging to the age group of 31 to 37. So mostly the findings are based on the age criteria of between 31 to 37 age group, because these are very vibrant working class people and men and women. So the study was conducted with them. Majority, that is 86.7% of the respondent organizations were in an urban setup in Tamil Nadu. Half of, that is 50 respondents have agreed that the company overall development is reduced. 19. So what happens when the COVID-19 hit? Most of these organizations, international organizations and local organizations have been shut up because of the employees were not able to go for work because of the lockdown and other systems. So that's when they introduced the work from home systems, and then only one shift has been working, especially for such organization called Orchid Chemicals and Pharmaceuticals, where 3-4 shifts were taking place. All the shifts were shut, and then people were asked to work from home. Now, some of these organizations are production-based organizations where they are manufacturing medicines. So they were unable to produce and meet the clientele requirements. And then according to this study released that more than 2/4, that is 46.7% of the respondents have agreed that the economic status of company is reduced due to COVID-19. And more than 2/5, that is 46.7% of the respondent has disagreed that HR forced to terminate their high experienced employees to reduce the economic burden. There was a confusion that because of the COVID-19 pandemic has established in the country, I mean in the world, the highly experienced staffs were discharged by the HR force, and it was not really true, because it's only highlighting 46.7%. Then more than half, that is 53.3% of the respondents, were in neutral state to the state of appointing the freshers as a way to manage the financial crisis of the organizations. Because what happens when we have an experienced staff, for example, somebody is getting 1,50,000 in an organization, in a company, then these freshers are not, these freshers have got a similar quality, except that they may lack a little of experience, but their salary level may reduce, so which may help the company to cope up with their organizational structure. Then more than 2/5, that is 43.3% of the respondents were in neutral state to provide traveling facilities to the employees is becoming mandatory after COVID-19. Because what happens somehow during the lockdown, not all the people were allowed to go out, especially some vehicles that carry certain brand based on the previous requirements. 2/5, that is 43.3% of the respondents have agreed that neutral to the statement of employment opportunity is reduced in the organizations after COVID-19. Of course, this finding reveals that the organization reduced the number of employees that they have because of low-level economy and an unproductive working strategy, because most of the work have been done at the home level. Then more than half, that is 53.3% of the respondents have disagreed to the statement of working hours were reduced due to COVID-19. Of course, we all know that even though the COVID-19 has hit and people started working from home, but the working hour was still the same. It was not reduced. Even my study reveals that the working schedule didn't reduce. All the organizations covered for this study were maintaining and regulating the social distance in the organization. Majority, that is 80% of the respondents in the organization are following the government norms and policies against COVID-19. Some here and there we may know that some of the we are as the in the beginning of the talk, Dr. Ravindra Kumar said, handling human being is little bit tough, but it is one of the easiest tasks. Like that, when COVID-19 hit, not everybody understood the real effectiveness of COVID-19. So according to my study reveals that only 80% of the respondents were feeling and following the norms and the policies, but the rest they were not able, because maybe they were thinking they can cope up with the pandemic. Yeah. More than 3/5, that is 73.3% of the respondent of the organization organized vaccination camp for their employee during pandemic. I mean, this is happy news. When I was doing the study, that most of these private organizations have organized the vaccination camp for their employees. And there is no significant relation between age and knowledge and awareness of COVID-19. There is no significant relationship between gender and knowledge and awareness of this COVID-19. In my conclusion, COVID-19 is very dangerous and especially communicable disease that can spread easily to one another. Having that in mind, organizations have designed their working style to adapt to the existing situations. Most of these working systems that they are established are work from home, shift based, and then outsourcing. Some of these, new strategies were brought. The role of HR is more important in any organization, and the newly established policies and practice must support the current situation, which should not affect the organization continued working style and the wellness of the employees. Which means the newly established policies must help the employee and the employer to sustain with the new establishment. That is, we call it that new norms. We have to survive with the new norms, but the policies and strategies of the organization must withstand as it is, which may create a reciprocal benefit for employee and employer. As the COVID-19 pandemic spreads, there are overall development, and the success of the organization is in the hand of HR management and the team. Imagine HR team in an organization is like a core team that really organize, plan, and designate descriptions for people to act according to the vision and objectives of the organizations. So this team plays a vital role. Yeah. On the other hand, the organization must educate the employee about the ill effect of pandemic and make them follow a safe and healthy working environment that is conducive to effective working style and the growth of organizations. This may explain that the new policies and procedures, new working norms, and all this must help the employees to meet the pandemic and make sure that they follow a healthy working environment. Yeah, I conclude here and I wait for questions. Thank you very much. And on this juncture, I would like to again thank the Sri Holistic Health Foundation of India and Sri Research Institute and Center of Arts and Science Wellbeing, and Dr. Ravindra Sir for being moderator and coordinator of such a wonderful conference, one week conference. And I wish that in near future they will organize such, and I will definitely relate to the subject matter. Definitely. I thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Stalinji. Can you switch on a moment for your camera so that I can take the screenshot, if possible?
Okay, let me just come into the live stream. Are you able to see me, sir? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, right now our office times are over. This is like 5:25 p.m.
Just for the record's sake, I will take one snapshot. Okay. Yeah, fine.
Thank you.
Very well presented. In fact, this is very much relevant also in COVID also.
Thank you, sir.
This post-COVID, in fact, we had one conference also, seminar on the new normal.
Yes.
So because things have changed. So how do you observe, as being, HR, you have made a study in HR practices. So you might have interacted with many HR resource persons. So what do you feel, the new normal, how well they are able to adjust and, you also presented the statistics also. What do you personally feel, like how it has affected? If you can share, that would be.
Yeah. Personally, to explain, this has really struck out our world. It has stopped our world because everybody is running. We don't know where we are running. but we are keep on running. Every day is a routine. We wake up, we fresh up our minds, we cloth out, we go start working. We had a machinery kind of life where the world felt that this machinery kind of life, we need to stop, and we need to go back to our ancient times where our ancestors really thought about religious aspect of being a human in this world. And I mean, I would definitely say God has given us a chance to look back our life and stop, listen, and proceed. Because we have been running behind money, like in your able presentation, you clearly explained that we are all running. We are looking for money, this and that, but ultimately we are called social human animal. But at the same time, we don't know. We may not have a proper objectives. But this COVID-19 pandemic has really brought us a struck that really make us to evaluate our life and move forward, especially in terms of HR practices. Out of my conversations with a few of my friends who have been working for organizations, they have really said that it has brought some economical deficiency in the world, as we can witness the increase of dollar to rupees, dollar to other currencies, fuel ratios, and food production rate increases, and it has really brought the world to struck. But personally, people are very happy. They had enough time to spend on their family members, and they really had a little bit of time. But according to most of my friends, they are feeling that economically it has brought them down, but spiritually and psychologically, it has really given some enough freedom for them to feel and realize the nessness of being. The nessness, when we call the nessness of being, the essence of the individual existence has been realized because of this COVID pandemic. But on the other hand, of course, by the economic reasons, the whole world has faced a really certain economical crisis. But on the other hand, people are happy. Yeah, following new norms and getting adapted to the situation. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Stalinji. Very well.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So, how do you see, especially because you are joining from other country, we'll also at an international level, we have always that curiosity of how, you have been going through in the crisis period. So, if you can see at an international level, when comparatively, how it was in your country, and
Yes, sir.
was there any significant difference you have noticed?
Yes, thank you very much for thank you very much for this question, sir. I can from the bottom of my heart, I should say we are living in Central Africa, and especially it is called Zambia, is one of the African nation. It's a landlocked country. We really faced a lot of challenge, especially having lack of food productions. Being in Africa, the economy is not that much well, because the pandemic had really hit. A lot of people wanted to go out of the country, which we couldn't manage. And it's a small country. It's kind of a state it's like more or less like a Karnataka. The whole country is like a Karnataka, for example. So we could hear every time but personally for me, what kept me well is next to my door is Brahma Kumaris. Like I mentioned a few days before when I spoke to you, Dr. Ravindra sir, our Brahma Kumaris doors were open for all people whenever they need. They were even supplying some free foodstuffs and all that, because organization Brahma Kumaris in Lusaka is quite huge, and they've got their own structures, and the door was open actually, and we had enough time to go and meditate on our personal trades. We had enough time actually. But on the economic part, like I mentioned, it really hit us bad. So we really had to survive with what we have, and it hit with a lot of death. Our people, most of a lot of our elders and a lot of some 6 people whom we know each other has been no more actually. But really Africans, they didn't. It was not really hit actually. It was just like any other diseases because of the immunity and other stuffs. But I must thank the organization called Brahma Kumaris for giving us such a great time to spend, reflect, meditate. A lot of people were there during this, even though government didn't allow, but most of our sessions start by 05 AM and the doors were open. We really had time to spend as a family, individually. Then we organized a few functions also, not as a great gathering, but yeah. But otherwise, for me personally, being in Zambia, I felt a lot of issues, especially on economy. Personally, we had enough time to spend with these people, yeah. Mhm.
Thank you, Dr. Stalinji, for sharing. Yeah, we almost every family lost one or other family member and more family members. It has
Yeah.
shown us a different kind of situation where even I think the majority of the present generations have never witnessed anything. We might have studied in books and we might have heard of pandemic, but we never saw the pandemic and the kind of isolation it has created for more than 1 year. We could never have imagined that we have to stay 1 year confined to our 4 walls. So that is something that which is beyond our imagination. But if things are not sorted out immediately, then I think even the UN and other organizations were also warning that every decade we might have such pandemic. So it's high time that we realize and act upon and live in harmony with nature and environment. And so that, organizations can also play a great role, especially because you have also brought this relevant topic here, because organizations can play a greater role by engaging employees, because they have a lot of CSR activity and also a lot of employees where weekends they have holidays instead of, going to these pubs, clubs and all, wasting their time.
Exactly.
They can go to the field and they can contribute. They can teach, they can plant some trees or water trees at least, So maybe I think those things will add so much value to their personal satisfaction, and they will also contribute to the society. So there are a lot of ways, in fact, organizational behavior we talk about in management. So a lot of things are there. Thank you very much, Stalinji. Hope you will look forward for more sessions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Participants, if you have
Thank
any
you very much.
queries, then you can just quickly unmute yourself and ask. You can share your observations as well. Feel free. If there are no queries, then thank you once again, Dr. Stalinji, for joining us, and wish you all the success in your future endeavors. There are few appreciation messages in the chat box. Wonderful session, beautiful PPT presentation. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
So we will move on to our next session. We have next presenting. So we have with us next Vaidehi.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, ma'am. So we have with us Ms. Vaidehi. She is a budding dentist and a public health enthusiast. And she is also interested in studying social sciences and human behavior that will help her advancing her career. So she is from Himachal Dental College, Sundarnagar, Himachal Pradesh. And presently she is doing her internship. Okay. So welcome, Dr. Vaidehi Saini. You can go ahead with your presentation on nomophobia.
Thank you so much, sir.
You can
Thanks
start
a lot.
your video and presentation.
Is my screen visible?
It is showing screen broadcast, but we can't see your PPT.
Just a second. Is the PPT visible now, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Please come.
Okay. So first of all, I would like to take out a moment and thank Shri Holistic Health Foundation India and Shri Research Institute and Center for Arts, Science and Wellbeing. Also, I would heartily like to thank Dr. Ravindra sir, the moderator and the coordinator for this wonderful one-week international conference on psychology, counseling, behavior sciences, social sciences, health, well-being and sustainable development 2023. I am very lucky to be a part of this chapter and be able to talk in front of such intellectuals about nomophobia. As sir has very nicely introduced me, my name is Dr. Vaidehi Saini. I am currently an intern in Himachal Dental College. And the topic that I want to discuss with you all today is nomophobia. So even though my background is dentistry, but public health is far, far away from the premises of any degree, I believe, and so is psychology and social behavior. And I think this topic is very apt for discussions these days because mobile phones are just becoming a part of our body. Like we use, maybe, I don't know if I'm right here or not. Correct me if I am wrong here, dear audience, but I think we use our mobile phones more than we use our even body parts these days. That is why my today's topic is nomophobia. I would like to begin with the presentation. So what is really nomophobia? This word is broken down into three components. Nomophobia derived from three words, that is no, mobile and phobia. So when people are detached from their mobile phones and they fear this detachment fear is known as nomophobia. Now, most of us might think that this can be a bit like a casual thing, but no, this has actually taken a form of a phobia where people on average have started they've started feeling very, very, like very conscious and very protective towards their mobile phones. Mobile phone abuse has increased in 21st century, and more adolescents are indulged in this. Smartphone overuse can be a sign of smartphone addiction, and this has stopped. Like we only know substance addiction like drug, alcohol, or maybe tobacco addiction, but these things are topping smartphone addictions now, and that is why the so-called misnomer is that is why phones are known as cell phones, because they really depict being in a prison. People are the prisoners of their phones these days. And I would like to quote that after pandemic, these things have taken an aggressive form, because most of the people, even though they indulge themselves into other activities also, but their phone became their best friend. We didn't realize when we have given so much space to our phones in our lives that it has almost become so intoxicating to all of us, and it has almost taken a form of a disease. Now, what are the signs that you are a smartphone addict? You are isolating from your friends and you're currently and constantly checking your phones for new notifications, new messages. You have strained interpersonal relationships. You are, as a student, you are listening, all your parents and your surroundings are scolding you every time you are on your phone, and you're constantly indulged and detached from your actual environment, and you are more and more indulged into your virtual world. You're waking up constantly to check your smartphones. You're not having sound sleep. People are unable to have sound sleep because they are feeling anxious about having a message or maybe an important text for that matter. You're having trouble focusing on work or at school. You have growing anxiety and fear of missing out. You have increased feeling of loneliness, depression. You have intense boredom when you're not using your mobile phone. You cannot think of any other alternative to do with your spare time but to use your mobile phone. You're feeling irritated, and when your smartphone is not with you, you're very insecure about what is happening in your life. Now, what is fear of missing out? A very common social media slang, I would say, that most of the people casually use these days is FOMO, fear of missing out. Fear of missing out is a feeling of apprehension that one is either not in the awareness of what is happening, or they are missing out on some information or some events or some experiences for that matter. For example, if any one of you, or for that matter, say I am unable to attend an event or a wedding of a very close friend, I'll start feeling anxious. I'll start having scissors and tremors about the fact that I was not there at that place. And that is called fear of missing out. It is characterized by a desire to stay continuously connected with what others are doing, and can be described as the fear that deciding not to participate is the wrong choice. If you are constantly rethinking about whether I did right by not going or whether I did wrong by not going, and thinking what might the other person be doing or what might that event be associated with, all these feelings that build anxiety, that build depression, that build a feeling of not knowing what's happening in others' life is known as FOMO, that is fear of missing out. Now, what are the scales for assessing smartphone addiction? I basically conducted a research in my own college after pandemic has hit us to see if students are really smartphone addict or is this just a theory? And for that, I used various scales and I had researched a little about it. So the scales that I used to assess smartphone addiction are, there are plenty of them. For example, nomophobia questionnaire, smartphone addiction scales, modified internet addiction test, smartphone application-based addiction scale, etc. Now, coming on to the effects of smartphone addiction on human health: tension, fatigue, dizziness, sleep disturbance, headaches, accidents due to distracted driving. Now, this point is very, very crucial because on an average, we see a lot of road accidents and most of them involve the use of smartphones. And we blame roads and the rules for not letting us be on our phones 24 hours connected with the constant updates, but it is really, really hazardous for only ourselves. It is said and it is stated that an average person checks the phone every 6.30 minutes in a 16-hour waking cycle. And you can contemplate how harmful that can be. And this is an average. So most probably me, or most probably people sitting in this room, are one of those who does that. And this is very, very, very harmful for us. And that is why this smartphone addiction is being contemplated as the next pandemic. Globally, mobile cellular subscriptions are 103.5 per 100 inhabitants. Like, this is a really alarming thing to take in consideration. Now, how is nomophobia escalating? 66% of the population suffers from nomophobia. People might not know about it, and the intervention scales and the research is conducted are coming up with that as we we are proceeding with time. But most of us, most of the people surrounding us, most of our peers are nomophobic because they have fear of losing their mobile phones. It is inbuilt into their psyche that if they are away from their phones, they are missing out on things. 77% of people aged 18 to 24 of my age, of our children's age, are nomophobic, compared to only 68% of people aged 25 to 24. Gone are the days when children used to sit and play board games. Even board games are inculcated in phones these days. Gone are the days when we used to play hide and seek and all those games. All we really care about is our phones and our social media these days. 72% of people report being within 5 feet of their smartphone. Forget about not using smartphone. We cannot even sit 5 feet apart from our phones. We want our charging plugs right besides our tables, right besides our beddings. We cannot afford, and we do not even try to stay away from these phones, even for a minute. And these stats clearly show that the younger generation, the so-called Gen Z, is more and more affected by this. Our parents or the older generations still manage their times because they are not inclined towards these things, because they were not growing up with these things. So instead of us going back to the basics and adopting to the things that were there in the past times, it is very harmful for us to sit with our mobile phones and do the same to our coming generations. I see in so many restaurants, even parents are so reluctant that just to keep their children away from the mess or maybe the mischief, they just hand over phones to them, and they do not know, but subconsciously they are depicting nomophobia into their children. Warning signs of nomophobia, that irrational fear of losing or not having access to one's mobile phone, are withdrawal symptoms. When one cannot focus on other things because they are out of their phones or their phones are turned off. They are facing anxiety. They are facing boredom or depression. They don't know what to do well with their time. They do not have any other activity left in their mind to think of except for checking their mobile phones, the so-called cell phones. They have disturbed sleep. They constantly keep waking up in their sleeps, and the subconscious urge to check your messages in a state of slumber, when you don't even know that you are half awake or half asleep, but you still remember your password of your phone, but you still remember where to open WhatsApp, where to open Instagram. This is really hazardous. In the half sleep stage, when your subconscious mind is resting, when your conscious mind is resting, you are still so much into the habit of using your phone that it is built into your self to check your phones. You are unaware of the risk. I have seen so many people, and everyone here will agree with me, people across us moving on the road. They do not care about where they are going, how are they crossing the roads. All they care about is checking their phones and their notifications well on time. And the last thing is that your phone is always with you. There is no place where you cannot find people with their phones, be it their washrooms, be it their restrooms, unless they're strictly prohibited. And people still, they fight against places, and they avoid places where mobile phones are not allowed. There has been increased reports of the students suffering from various mood disorders due to increased screen time. Pandemic had a toll on each and every one of us. But I feel sorry for the coming generation who were handed their mobile phones as a medium of their education, and now it has been an inevitable part of their lives, and they cannot imagine a day or two without their mobile phones. And they are really facing a lot of problem due to this. Due to COVID-19, students have increasingly been dependent on their mobile phones. Now, this is one of the intervention forms that I personally used in my research, and these forms can be used as a self-checklist also, that whether you are nomophobic or not. It include question like, do you turn off your notifications for social media applications, or do you keep your phones away when you have put an alarm, or do you avoid online gaming, do you use paper books, these Kindle books, and all these e-platforms or e-methods of reading, they are not only overtaking the traditional methods, but they are also taking away the essence, the very essence of human brain. It is said that the most common degenerative change that is seen after COVID-19 is hippocampal degeneration. And hippocampal degeneration means you are unable to recognize faces, you do not remember your locations, you do not remember your mapping systems. Human brains were trained and they were made the way they can remember maps. But now, after everything being digitalized, we are degenerating in our thought process and our brain. Once we stop using it, every organ that stops working does degenerate, and it's only a matter of time. Even with, I am not against technology, but maybe I am against its use at such full swing. I am not against the growth of AI and human intelligence, but maybe I am at par against not using our intellect and just depending on an AI tool that is also human created. For example, the ChatGPT that has come up, and there is so much debate about ChatGPT these days, but what it actually is doing, it is taking away the human essence from each and every document. We'll be more and more inclined towards things that are ready-madely available to us, and we will stop thinking. And this will have tremendous amount of degenerative changes, both physiologically and psychologically, on our brain. Now, coming to the discussion parts, a researcher has reported that women and younger individuals suffer from more smartphone dependence. 58.7% of the students were heavily dependent when I personally conducted the research. Smartphone dependence had a significant relationship with gender, age group, and the level of education. And the frequency of using mobile phones had a significant relationship with age group and the level of education. Macro, that is Market Analysis and Consumer Research Organization in Mumbai, has studied various patterns and association of mobile phone usage, has reported that 58% of the respondents could not manage without a mobile phone even for a day. Now, this might sound hypothetical, but think of it for one day. Will you be taking up the challenge of not using your mobile phone for one whole day? We are so much dependent, and we are basically paralyzed without our mobile phones. We are crippling. I don't know when and how these things took over us so tremendously that we are crippling souls who cannot function without technology. And the irony is that this is the technology that humans themselves created. So it is really saddening to see technology ruling its own creator. Likewise, it presents a direct and significant link with internet use, social network dependence, and anxiety. Due to these factors, it is considered a digital disease. Forget about atomic diseases, forget about viral diseases. Ladies and gentlemen, we're living in a generation where we are going to face digital diseases, where our own creations are going to be our largest evils, whose risk factor of suffering is increased in youth population between 12 and 18 years old, and those subjects whose personality tends to be emotionally dependent. Introverts have found solace in mobile phones. Young generations have found solace in mobile phones. How are we going to expect our society to grow intellectually when all the time we are not communicating with each other, we are on our phones? Why this topic of discussion was necessary was because it is important that we, the psychologists, the teachers, the students, and the researchers of today be taught about the side effects of mobile phones, so that at least we are consciously making a decision of not being nomophobic. Hence take appropriate measures to reduce the same. I am not saying you all, I'm not advising, or I'm not insisting on leaving the mobile phones and going to the Himalayas, but I would rather suggest that we take conscious steps away from nomophobia. We use the technology as much as we should. not as much as it can be. Now, here are some of the tips to overcome this addiction. You should always adjust your notification settings. Turn off all the unnecessary notifications and only turn on relevant apps. Notification system was created to indulge human beings more and more into smartphones, because every time you get a notification, your psyche is naturally inclined towards the thing that has made the sound and to check upon it. That is why it is advisable. You cannot avoid, of course, you cannot avoid important calls and messages. So what we can do is we can adjust our notification settings to only high priority settings. Establish time limits and keep track of your screen usage. It is a very good reality check where you can see that how many hours per day are you spending on phone. Aiming to reduce your screen time in half. Look at how many hours you're spending per day and try and reduce it with each passage of day. Get a real alarm clock. Do not set alarm on your mobile phones. Get a real old school alarm clock. It will give you a good feeling, plus it will avoid you from constantly being around your phone. Physically separate yourself from your phone. Go and put your phone in the next room that you're sitting. When you are around your friends, take your phones away and be physically present in the situations and the conditions where you are. Set aside time to focus on reality. Begin by admitting that what you see on your phones isn't a part of your reality. People have mistaken virtual world with real worlds, and this is a very big problem these days. You need to affirm, you need to self-affirm that what you are looking onto the screens is not the reality of the other person. Maybe the other person is in depression, but is looking very beautiful or appealing. You need to accept the fact that every person is different and what is on the phone is not the real world. Ask yourself what you need to browse through Instagram for. Why do you need social media? What kind of motivation are you looking for? Is Instagram or any other social media the right place for the kind of knowledge or the kind of growth you are seeking in your life? Self-affirmation and self-questioning is the only way to go forward. Instead of using your phone, engage in some beneficial hobbies such as yoga, meditation, outdoor games, exercises, paintings. We all, just in today's sessions, we have seen how beautifully our minds were calmed by Didi, who took the session today. We must indulge into activities that are apart from our mobile phones. And even if you are doing yoga, even if you're doing meditation, do not sit and take assistance of your phone. Rather, start reading books about it. Rather, go and take part in a physical environment where you can be guided and assisted about the same. Switch off your phones at least an hour before bed. It's very important to not look at your phones while you're going to bed. 1 hour before bed is the right time to switch your phones off. Take a good book, or maybe take a good relaxing evening drink, or for that matter, warm water, lukewarm water. Sleep with your thoughts. Human beings have started avoiding their thoughts, and that is why we are constantly on our phones. Create cell phone free zones. Make this a policy for yourself, ladies and gentlemen. We are an era who has come and fought a lot of things for this independence and for this success. We should not paralyze ourselves as a society by the mere smartphone. Instead of using social media, make actual human interactions. When was the last time you made an actual friend in a park? When was the last time you actually talked to someone? Or maybe when you approached a stranger for a random conversation? We are so confident in sending friend requests online, but how confident are you in going up and owning to talking to someone personally, physically? Trust me, the essence of physical meetings, meetups, and conversations is something else that can never, ever be established by a mere screen. Avoid or minimize online gamings. Prefer games with physical activity. Go and register yourself in a sports club. Go and play out in real world while you can. And minimize online gaming. At last, I would only like to say that nomophobia might be a digital disease, but it is happening. It is not happening digitally. It is happening physically to people around you. Those who are listening to this lecture today, you don't know how many people around you are already nomophobic. I am glad that I took this topic so that at least through the medium of you guys, I can pass on my message and awareness about nomophobia, and so that you can make the conscious decision of moving away from this crippling disorder. At last, I would again like to thank Dr. Ravindra sir and the organization for allowing me this time and this space to share my thoughts on this topic and on this beautiful occasion of this 1 week conference. And I wish the organization very, very, very huge success, and may all their future endeavors be good. And I would love to be a part of the upcoming events also. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Vaidhi. It was a really wonderful presentation. And it's the need of our also, because we are more and more occupied with gadgets. And, unfortunately, parents are introducing gadgets to infants at a very early age because they want them to keep engaged so that parents can take up other work. But this is very unfortunate that, you have also showed various side effects that can impact the children at an early age, exposure to radiation and also light, and various things are there which needs to be considered before giving it to children and introducing at early stage. And we need to detoxify from this digital, and we need to take break daily. At least we need to fix up some time, half an hour or so, that we are away from the mobile, so that we slowly start trying to stay away from these. But yes, mobile has become part of our life for for studying, paying bills, and a lot of utility work. But still, not 24/7 we require mobile. Not 24/7 we sleep, not 24/7 we eat. So definitely we can take out some time, as Dr. Vaidhi has said, we can always have some time without mobile. That is not impossible. But we need to ration, we need to set a quota where, we need to limit the screen time. So any participants, if you have any queries, you can unmute yourself and you can express, share your observations or queries. Yeah, Dr. Meena.
Very well. Fantastic presentation. I'm just look at this scenario. I'm just craving an indulgence to look at the scenario in 1 second. The scenario where you teach with your phone, you study with your phone, you research with your phone, you play with your phone, you communicate with your phone, and 12 midnight, or if depending on when you set up as your work time, you see that 99.99 a little 9 over of your activities are done with the phone. Like from 2 a.m. I have to start working again, against the following day, since maybe you're not able to use a laptop. So essentially what I'm saying is it possible, is it feasible to disengage from that kind of routine? Sorry, my
Thank you, Dr. Meena. Vaidehi, would you like to respond?
Yes, that's very right. Actually, it is true that most of the times everything we do is on our phone, but it is, as Dr. Ravindra was also saying, it is not really like, it is not mandatory. We can, if we can make a rational decision to switch, we must try and switch from our online modes to our offline modes, and we should and we must take most of the things that we can offline. For example, even notes writing is getting digital right now. Like, even if you want to study, you need your mobile phones, and that is where you're going to make your notes. So at least we should go back to the basics and go old school in things where we can consciously choose to not go online. When was the last time we actually were, using a dictionary to search for a word meaning? I mean, that was the only thing that was available when I was a kid. But these days, all you do is Google search and there you go. So these are the little things that we need to inculcate and form habits about consciously, so that we can at least make a difference in ourselves, in our surroundings. I guess, yeah, that's what I would like to add into it.
Yeah, very well said. Mary, you can unmute yourself.
Good night, ma'am. I thank Dr. Ravindra sir and Sri Holistic Health Foundation for giving me this opportunity to express my opinion. Actually, ma'am, I'm not a person who's like very phone and online and all. So I talk a lot, but my friends tell, what, you're not an online person. Even for shopping, you go out in the sun and you shop. Why don't you order from house? And why you switch off yourself in the night? You should keep your phone on. And when I travel in the morning in public transport, I see all the youngsters messaging all the time. The phone, the fingers are on the phone more than they forget the place where they have to get down in the bus. They're so inclined to the phone. So, and everyone asked me how your laptop came 12 years with you, because I always go out and I'm very outgoing, and I only this 2 years of pandemic I sat at home with this online. So I actually am not very used to this computer, and this topic was very close to my heart, because what points you told now, that and all I have practiced. So it is a very excellent topic. It brought a real insight in me, and I love the topic, ma'am. God bless you. All the best for your life.
Thank you so much, Mary. That meant a lot to me. This topic is very close to my heart as well. And I appreciate you not taking your phones everywhere you go. I appreciate you not using your mobile phones on train. And at least you're observing everyone around you. You're learning so much about your surroundings, and you are much, much, much ahead of everyone around the herd. And let those who speak about this speak about it. Instead, you should be the one guiding them that there is a thing called nomophobia, and you are nomophobic, guys. There's no problem in me. I'm absolutely fine. Go get yourself intervention form, and they should be the ones that should limit their screen times. And thank you so much. I am very grateful and very happy that I could be a bit in your success in this way.
Yeah, Shilpa, you can unmute yourself.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Dr. Vaidehi, a very apt topic that you have, chosen for the presentation. I would really like a little bit of more information regarding the study, the research that you have done, with the tips and all that you presented. Have you thought of doing a longitudinal study also on the same subjects?
Okay. Hi, Shilpa. Yes, the study that was right now taken up by me was basically in my own college itself, since I'm a BDS intern, and the study was conducted with the assistance of my seniors and my supervisors and my professors. And of course, since this topic is so like elevating, I would really seek guidance on the same, and if at all possible, I would really like to expand my horizons on the same. And as far as the research is as far as my personal research was that we were studying about the chances and the nomophobia amongst the dental professionals of a college and around all the BDS students,
Okay.
BDS graduates. That was the basic the aim of the study that we had conducted.
Okay, so this the tests and all that you have used for this, is it limited to a particular age group, or it can be also administered on younger population?
The test that we basically used, the intervention form that I had showed you in the presentation, was basically for the 18 to 25 years of age group, since most of the dental professionals or the undergraduates belong to that age group. I'll have to see if there is another test, like another scale for the younger individuals, because obviously the study is more prevalent these days for the younger population in schools per se.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the references you have also mentioned. Definitely, there must be studies related to the
Yes, there have
that.
been a lot of
Yeah,
studies related to all of this.
yeah.
Yes.
Because even in the special needs children also, this is very frequently observed that they are also handed over the screen and all. So
Yes.
so it's like you need to have a study on the parents also and also on the children. So
Yes,
it's a
that's actually.
two-way. Yeah, you can think of two-way research on this.
Thank you so much. That's a really
Yeah.
wonderful idea, and I would really consider that moving ahead. Since I've seen the response of the topic being like how much it has touched everybody, I am very integral about the fact that I'll take this up more
Yeah, very
seriously.
interesting topic and really loved your PPT also. Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
much. It means a lot. It means a lot. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Shilpaji. Kaur, you can unmute yourself. Kaur Zabi, you have raised your hand.
Thank you very much for giving me permission. Hello, Dr. Vategi. A fantastic presentation. You made us realize seriously this past health changes. I would like to follow the suggestions and will limit the time and will guide my students and my own kids about these changes. The topic was excellent. God bless you, ma'am. One question is there. Nowadays, I have seen younger mothers are giving phone to their months-old kids. How we can help them not to do this?
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your question. I am sorry, but you were not very audible to me. But as far as I can gather and what I've heard of is that you were asking that how can we motivate young mothers to not hand mobile phones over to their children, or what? Is that what you were asking?
The main question is this: how we can guide them?
Yeah. So I guess the very first thing in guiding anyone is to enlighten them with the right kind of knowledge. They do not know what kind of harmful impacts they are unconsciously putting and eliciting into their words. First thing would be my personal advice would be to guide parents and such mothers because I understand everyone is working and they want to just get rid of the, the unnecessary mischief, or maybe they are too busy with their own works. And I'm not saying that they do not love their words or they do not care, but maybe they are unconsciously trying to avoid their problem, but they do not know that they're creating a bigger problem for the same. I guess counseling, and just like Shilpa ma'am was saying right now, that there should be a two-way study where we should also study parents as well as children to see the depict or to see the extent of nomophobia and how well or how submerged is it in our society. First thing I would say to guide such mothers would be to tell them about nomophobia and the things that can happen with their words if they constantly hand over phones to them. And change always starts from home. First thing we should always do is we should always guide people who are very close in our family, or yourself for that matter, to not do such practices. I understand that when children see these kind of things, they do demand them, but it is, I very firmly believe that a very, like, children are really like very molten, their molten stage, and they are really in their shaping form. They're just like molten wax, and whatever shape or whatever form you give them, they are going to grow up and be that person. It is very, very easy, and it is very important to mold your word into the right kind of shape. So by not getting them indulged into such activities, and if you want to like try out more activities, put them into a karate class, maybe put them into a meditation class, put them into a physical building class, or maybe a behavioral class where they can play and they can learn literal life sciences. They can learn about nature, they can learn about playing with the mud, or playing with building their strengths and cores. And that way we can keep them away from technology. Firstly, I guess consciousness about the fact that this is wrong is very important. That's what I would like to say on the same.
Younger mothers just try not to use in front of their younger kids as well. I think.
Yeah, that is what I'm saying, that if they are conscious, if they are consciously making the decision to not, of course we understand that people are literally working from their homes, they have to be there online, but choosing, knowing that this is wrong, and knowing that I need to take out time apart from all of this and give time to my ward without mobile phones. There are plenty of other ways to spend time with your ward. It's not just watching television or playing games on for example, when I was a kid, there were not many mobile phones. There only used to be one landline. So what my mother and I used to do is we used to discuss she used to ask me, how was your day, what happened in that period, and then what happened, and then what happened, and then we used to chant Gayatri mantras. She used to teach me how to pronounce the mantras. That was our leisure time. That's how we used to play. She taught me games from her childhood. So we should bring those things back so that we can really reconnect with our roots and stay away from such digital diseases.
Absolutely right. Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Thank you, everyone, for sharing your observations and queries and making it more interactive. Anyone else have any more queries? We can quickly take one or two. There are no further queries. Then we have one message from Akshay. Very nice observation. Wonderful session by you. Akshay Kumar, Sundar Nagar, Himachal.
Thank you so much.
Another appreciation messages. Nice session. Wonderful session. So thank you, everyone, for joining us and for being with us. And hope you all are enjoying your sessions. So those we almost completed 5 days of international conference. So we have just 2 days left, and the final day will be a busy day. So those who are willing to present or those who have presented, we request everyone to complete the formalities and make sure you are completing all the formalities so that you can get an opportunity to present tomorrow. Day after tomorrow, I'm not sure whether we will be able to allot you time, because what I thought, to cover many things I could not cover due to paucity of time. Now I am thinking I could have kept it for a longer duration. But initially we planned for a full day, but again, because now offline we have colleges, offices, so it is not possible for everyone, most of us. So that's where requests are coming up, and instead, having 1 full day, 2 full days, the same can be distributed over a couple of days so that we can have good time, and also evening everyone can attend and utilize this offer. So that's the reason we have organizing the same evening time, so that of the working hours we can join and share our thoughts, knowledge, observations. So utilize this opportunity. Whoever is willing to present, complete by tomorrow is also last date for registration for presentations. So try to complete as early as possible before the session starts, and follow the format as mentioned strictly, because the message also, the format itself is a template for the system to automatically pick up the data. So if you change the format, or if you, leave some empty, then system will not accept again. That will create a problem at the time of certificate generation. So that's why we are saying copy the format and fill in the details. If you change anything here or there, that can also cause some problem. So exactly copy the format and fill the details and attach all the files and share. So this procedure is same for all upcoming and previous also. So it will be same for all upcoming events. Daily we have event. Daily you can join with the same link at 6 o'clock. But the registration links might change from event to event. So you can check. Anyway, we are also daily sharing the registration links in the chat box. So if you are able to join our groups or our communication channels on Facebook or Telegram or groups, you might have already received the registration links and also website address. But if you are not following any of these, then you need to follow us daily on chat box. And we have Google Calendar also, where it will remind you. We have almost all alternatives for you to keep connected. You can always get connected automatically. Only thing is a little effort once. As I said, just explore once where is what is what, that's it. You can have a smooth, safer journey. So we have launched the final feedback form for the day. We request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback. We request everyone to quickly attend to the feedback form before leaving the platform. If anyone has any queries, you can raise your hand so that we can unmute yourself, or you can use chat box. Feedback form has been raised. We request everyone to fill the feedback form. Okay. Just a second. Let me launch again. What happened to this? Yeah, the feedback form has been raised once again. We request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form. And once again, we request everyone, those who are willing to present, tomorrow will be the last opportunity to. Now you can try those who have lost the feedback form. You can just log in. Once again, you can log off and log in if you are not able to see. If you are using mobiles, you may need to swipe left or right or top or bottom to access, and there you might also see an option in the menu polls and quizzes. You can click on that. You can see active polls and you can access the overall feedback form. Yeah, Akshay Kumar, do you have any query? You have raised your hand. You can unmute yourself. Akshay Kumar. Your hand is raised by mistake. Okay, I'm lowering it down. Those who are not able to see the polls, they are requested to use the Zoom app instead of browser. Browser, certain settings might prevent you from showing the polls. And those who are using Zoom app in mobiles, because accidentally you might have closed, or because it is a touch screen mobiles, when the window suddenly pops out by the gesture of your hand or by certain movement or touch, it can get also automatically closed. So what you can do, or if you are not on the screen and you are doing something else on your mobile and not Zoom app is not active on your screen, it can also happen when you shift to Zoom, the screen might get automatically closed. So always when you are attending on mobile, make sure you have the Zoom app and the window, meeting window, always on screen. So what you can do, you can quickly log off and log in so that you can see the feedback form once again. You can fill it up and you can update your Zoom app if still the issue is not resolved. We see almost 50% of them have completed. We request rest of them to also fill and submit the feedback form. Akshay Kumar, you have unmuted. You have anything to share? Thank you, everyone. You can use your chat box if you have anything to be shared. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Quickly fill up the feedback form so that we can close the meeting. Thank you, everyone, for joining us and making this conference successful. We acknowledge, we express our gratitude for your valuable time staying along with us. Because of non-complying with the formalities, you may face difficulties because of limited resources from us, from you. It's only because of non-compliance of formalities. By not following instructions, that is only reason for whatever, the difficulties even we are facing or you are facing. So kindly follow the instructions and keep attending. And also spread this information. You can have flyers from our groups or our Facebook handles. Keep sharing this information so that more and more people can be part of it. Let's make together. They will also remember you for giving this opportunity. And do keep sharing, and we have more and more opportunities coming ahead. You all can take part. Every day there is one other event like conference. Otherwise also most of the days we have international webinar series where you can also present. Only the certificate differs, but every day there is an event almost. Only when there is, an unavoidable situation or something happens unexpectedly. That also we'll try to cover. That's why we will take up some more days in August or September. We'll try to compensate whichever day we were not able to take it up. We'll also extend that period to another few days and make sure we have all these days, at least some additional days, so that we get opportunity. So use this opportunity, share, and at least you need not spend any money or any materialistic things. You can just spread the word and invite your friends also to join and present. That is the greatest thing you can do on this platform. And that is the smallest way to express your gratitude also to the platform. You can keep share and invite like-minded. That may be any subject. We will try to accommodate wherever it fits in. And if we have, or if your department or if your college or if your friends, because most of them, study together, we have a batch of students where if you have anything, or if say on any discipline, if you have number of presentations and you would like to make present, then we can also organize one day conference or one day workshop or seminar where we can have the entire theme dedicated to one subject. That can also be possible based on your request. We can also organize like that. So reach out us if you have any requirement. then we can collaborate and do. Utilize this opportunity. So see you all tomorrow. Take care. Good night. You can join with the same link at 5 p.m.